Hey, what's up? This is Saul. I'm going to do a quick tutorial on some basic hip-hop mixing that we do in here. And to each their own. Every engineer is going to be doing it differently in different studios. So this is just how I do it, some of the basic tricks that I do. And I hope you get something out of it. So let's go.
So you'll see here I have a vocal that I've soloed. It's an MC that came over by the name of Hennessy who put down this verse. And we have a main track, his main vocal, which I'll play for you.
I'm fresher than a head of lettuce, so cuff your lady or I'll steal her like Jerome Bettis. I done sipped a whole fifth of him.
So it's pretty dry, pretty standard. We have a pretty good wavelength, pretty good levels here. You'll notice there is one spike here where he yelled a little bit louder in the booth than us as engineers would like. So I'll show you what to do in that case. If it clips and you actually hear the audio clipping, it might be a good idea to just re-record it. Anyway. First off, what I would do is on the main vocal, I go ahead and put a compressor on it. I use a lot of the standard cakewalk effects units here. On the compression though, I go to the Sonatus FX compressor, and it's got a pretty good preset in here for hip hop. It's rock vocals, but I use it for hip hop. Basically, I like it because it has a really short attack. I shorten it up a little bit more, and a real short release because you're not going to really need it to stay on the compression that much. So you want a short attack, short release. I usually lift this up just a tad bit, and we'll press play. I'll play it over here so you can see this big spike, and what happens, it will bring the level down so it doesn't jump and the audio doesn't click.
Fifth for him, so I was already leaning before I hit the scene.
Yeah.
And I've been.
So there's a big jump in the compression. What it did is it brought the level down right when that peak came. So it keeps the vocals nice and level. So that's important. We'll put that compression there. So I went ahead and put the compression on the main vocal there. Another thing that I'll do on the main vocal is I'll put basic reverb on here. I use the effects reverb. A lot of people don't like the effects units that Sonar has. I think they're really simple, and they got some good presets if you know how to use them. Main one I use is Big Bright, and basically it sets it up for you as far as the room, and then I just bring down this mix really lightly to about 4, sometimes 5, especially for hip hop vocals. You don't want it sounding too airy. So let's see how that sounds with the reverb on it.
I'm fresher than a head of lettuce, so cuff your lady or I'll steal her like Jerome Bettis. I done sipped a whole.
See, that even seems a little airy to me for hip hop, so I'm gonna bring it down. Bring it down to 4. So the other thing that you can do is you can EQ it. With this, I don't think it needs that much EQing, but just for purposes of demonstration, I will go ahead and throw in the Sonatus EQ, and basically I'll drop a little bit of the low end off here, and maybe a little raise the highs up a little just to bring it out a little bit. Let's see.
I'm fresher than a head of lettuce, so cuff your lady or I'll steal her like Jerome Bettis. I done sipped a whole fifth for him, so I was already leaning before I hit the scene. And I've been smoking on.
That is basically for the main vocal track. Then we come down here and we have a second track that he has laid out, and let's see how that sounds.
Get down. I'm fresher than a head of lettuce, so cuff your lady or I'll steal her like Jerome Bettis. I done sipped a whole fifth for him, so I was already leaning before I hit the scene.
So it's basically just hits on some of the things that he says. The other thing that I do, definitely for a backup, for the main vocal, I always tend to keep it in the center panned. For the second vocal, what I'll do is I'll put it to the left. I'll pan it to the left. Usually, well, this is at 40, usually around 30% to the left. Just gives the vocals a little more space. and it's not dead in the center, especially for the backups. And then if they do another backup track with like crazy tracks, you know, where some people will get in there and just kind of echo themselves or respond to what they're saying, I will put that to the right, so you get a wide range when you're listening to it in stereo mode. So what I'll do here is I'll go in here and I'll put the compression on this. Now, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll put a compressor on a effects send unit down here, and then you can actually send each vocal to the effects unit. Just for keeping it simple and setting it up, I'm just going to keep it on each individual track, so you get kind of more of a idea of what I'm doing instead of routing all the signals and stuff. It makes it a little easier in following me. So I'm going to do the same thing, put in rock vocals, put the threshold up a little higher, bring this down a little bit. So that's going to do the same thing, compress it.
Get down. I'm fresher than the head of lettuce, so cuff your lady or I'll steal her like Jerome Bettis.
Sounds good. And what I do on this, on most of my backups, I will go in here to Cakewalk and I'll get the FX delay. And they have a set in here that says vocal fattener. Now I bring this down so the mix level is about at 20. And I leave everything how it's preset. I really like how the preset sounds. Let me just solo this so you can hear it. It basically just fattens it up a little bit.
Fresher than the head of lettuce.
Almost,
so cuff your lady or I'll steal her like Jerome Bettis.
Almost like a chorus effects unit would do, but it's a little lighter than chorus. It's just a really fast
like
delay, I'm assuming. So I like how it fattens it up.
To keep my composure, still chilling at the bar.
So that's that. Here's another thing that he did here, and let's see what it sounds like by itself.
Get down. Ay.
So this is what I was talking about, just kind of like a crazy fill-in track. He put a couple A's and, you know, haze and echoes himself.
I hit the scene.
So just to kind of liven up the track a little bit and just fill in gaps. You know, when you're doing hip hop, it's important to fill in the gaps so it sounds a little bit more fluent and more appealing to the listener. So he did actually 2 tracks like that. So I won't do too much with this. I will probably throw in the compression on both of these just to keep it at a level. And what I'll do is I'll just bring them down here. So the same settings on both of them. Like that. And that's probably all I'll do. Maybe throw in some reverb on one of them just to kind of space it out a little bit. Again, the big bright one, and I'll bring it down to 2. And so with all of them, you can hear how it sounds.
I'm fresher than the head of lettuce, so cuff your lady or I'll steal her like Jerome Bettis. I done sipped a whole 5th of heme, so I was already leaning before I hit the scene. And I've been smoking.
See, there's that echo. And of course, this is all mixed not to music, so what you'll want to do before you finalize it is obviously mix it to music. So let me unsolo it. You can hear.
I'm fresher than the head of lettuce, so cuff your lady or I'll steal her like Jerome Bettis. I done sipped a whole 5th of heme, so I was already leaning before I hit the scene. And I've been smoking on that okra, smelling like hella Doja, but I still managed to keep my composure.
So that's basically it. So you'll see the pans are very important to me. I make sure I keep things panned. I leave the center one I leave the main vocal in center, and then I pan out the other backups. Usually I have 3 backups, so I'll go the second one to the left and the third one to the right. This one I put again to the left because it's got some of the same hits in it, so I want to spread those out. Other than that, that's basically how I mix. Like I said, it's always changing. It just depends on the song, the artist, the feel of what's going on in studio, and how it sounds in the final mix. So hope that helps some people out. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'll be putting on some more tutorials shortly. So thanks for checking it out.